What's up, ninjas? Whack-a-Granny Wednesday, that's right, but we have not been whacking any granny yards today. We did not work, by the way. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and by the time I got done, it was pretty much noonish, maybe even a little past noon, and now we have very little short daylight. So I told Sassy himself, I said, listen, let's just take a day off, forget it, and we'll pick it back up tomorrow. But enough about that, enough about me. Let's get to the point what this video is really about. So one of the things we're gonna do first of all is I'm gonna stop this recording and I'm gonna go get that brown jacket because it is freaking cold out here. So once I do that, let's get to the truck. Okay, now that I got my jacket on, I feel a little bit better, a little bit warmer. Let's get the truck started. Let it start warming up a little bit before we go inside and go over a few things, talk about a few things, and eventually we'll walk around the outside. Some of the things I'm gonna point out that you can expect in this video is gonna be such as what stands out to me, what I personally actually like about it, what I've had a chance to kind of play with, look at it, and things like that. A little bit last night and a little bit this morning. And then just go over a few things of what the point here is of doing this. So, all right, here we go. Nice. All right, guys, so I'm in the truck. Things are warming up, letting it run a little bit as usual, and what you would want to do in a diesel is let it run, of course, just for a few minutes before you kind of take off. All right, so how did I end up with a Silverado? What's going on? Some of you who've been following me religiously, so to say, already know what's been going on, but a lot of you kind of tune in and out. I understand we're all busy with our lives, so you don't probably catch every video, but that's okay. But how I ended up with this truck and why do I have it and why am I reviewing it to begin with, and what do I hope to get out of this, and what do I hope that you get out of this. So a few months back, probably around this summer when the season started, we ended up getting a vehicle for Mama Ninja. Okay, and while I was at the dealership, obviously it was this Chevrolet, it was a Traverse, a lot of you know. So while we were at the dealership, I spoke to the general manager, talked to the guys there, real cool people, by the way, and I'll mention that in a second who it is, and I really appreciate them giving me the opportunity to check this thing out. It's a beautiful, beautiful machine. And anyway, so I told them, what I do, of course, and that I'm looking to upgrading a vehicle, and so a lot of you already as well know that I am getting ready getting ready to sell the 2014 two-door that I have. And so sell, trade, last time I checked the trade, as I mentioned, it was a while ago, and I wasn't super happy. It wasn't from this actual dealership, but so I'm still not sure how I'm gonna go about it. I know I've made the decision that it's time to sell it. Now, a lot of guys have mentioned and said, Big Nick, you could just keep one truck and always, rent one if something ever happened to Tiny. I could, but remember, I'm the type of person that it's two of everything, if you can, okay? I don't really want to run around rent trucks and things of that nature if something was to happen to Tiny over here, as you can see, okay? Why do that when I would rather just have a good size pickup truck sitting at home as a backup or whatever, and ready to go if in case I ever need it. So with that being said, I'm selling the 2014 and I am looking for another truck. So that is what I told them, and they were like, hey, we would be gladly happy for you to check out one of our Silverados. And I told them right up front, I am a Ford guy, but I'm not a closed-minded person. But I'm a Ford guy for just simply the fact that I've always been around Ford trucks, friends, family. I've had so many of them myself just throughout the last 10 plus years, okay? So I'm a Ford guy. But when they said, hey, we would love for you to demo it, try it out, review it, give us your honest opinion about it, I said, sure, I'm honored. Would love to. So we tried to do this last summer, and of course you guys know we had one crazy summer, super busy, and I didn't get a chance to go pick one up. So now that things have slowed down a little bit, I had some time, we got back in touch, and I went and picked one up. So a lot of you who've been watching me on basically day-to-day basis, right, you guys know that I have not purchased this truck. This is absolutely you know, just a trial version to demo, check out, get a feel for it, and I get to keep it for a couple of days and see what I think of it. I'm reviewing it because I am in the market for a vehicle. New, maybe not new, okay? I really am not a huge fan to go brand new, but definitely want to get a feel for the type of truck. So obviously this one is brand new, but if I was to go with a Chevrolet Silverado, I may not possibly want to go with a brand new one. And we're gonna get to that in a minute as far as different packages and things of that nature as well. So, here we are. It's a 2019 Silverado Duramax 6.6 liter turbo diesel, of course. Real quick correction, on the very last video I said I've never owned a Chevy truck. I know I have a 1993 GMC behind me, but guys, what I really meant is I've never owned any of these new generation pickups as far as Silverados go. The GMC just came in out of the blue from a family friend about 3 years ago or so, and I couldn't pass up the deal because it was such a great condition, and for the year and the mileage, that's why. But I've never owned, last 10-15 years or so since I've been driving trucks and all that, and then specifically in my, you know, being in business, never been a Chevy guy, or never gotten a Chevy and never owned one, so never even demoed one. I just wanted to stop at a parking lot and really have more room to walk around than I do in my own driveway, just because I actually have trucks and trailers there. So this is actually a really comfortable spot to just kind of walk around, show you a little bit in depth of the truck itself, and so that way you can get a better picture of what it actually looks like. Okay, before we get started, I first and foremost want to just say thank you. I want to say a big thanks and a big shout out to Mtn View Chevrolet. I'll have their information down at the description and the bottom if you guys want to check it out. Their inventory and maybe some of the trucks that they have are very similar to this one, but definitely a big shout out to them, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to just check out their truck. So as I mentioned, this is a 2019 Silverado 6.6 liter Duramax turbo diesel with the Allison transmission. There's different trims and different packages. Obviously this is the high country trim package line, which obviously is a very luxurious, very fancy, good looking truck, you know, with all the bells and whistles that can come on a pickup truck. So one of the first things that stood out to me, being that I am a Ford guy myself, is the fact that Chevy has completely redesigned the 2019s. Actually beautiful compared to some of the older models that I personally never cared for. And hood itself, the grille, the headlights, to me this design definitely looks so much beefier and meaner looking than some of the older designs. So that was definitely a plus for me, just as far as looks wise, because a lot of you know I do care how my trucks look and how I present myself, whether it's in my business or just period. So I try to always include that in everything that I do. Presentation is definitely a key one. Another really one that stood out to me is the diesel engine. That just, when you turn it on, how loud and nice it sounds. And of course it's a new truck, and I'm sure it'll change some you know, sounds as it continues to break in, but it's definitely, you can definitely tell that it's a diesel truck, even if it didn't have any Duramax signs or anything like that. Just by the sound of it, you would know this is a diesel truck. A lot of these are just for looks, and I know a lot of cars have them. A lot of guys put them on their cars, maybe even on some of their trucks. This is a functional air vent that sucks in air as you're driving down the road and keeps the engine even more cooler than you know, some of the fans and things that would keep the engine normally cool. So And if you're wondering, like, as far as rain and debris and things like that and leaves that would catch, there is a debris catcher right here, okay? And so this is something the dealership will always check on and replace and maintain when you go in to get your oil change and your regular maintenance. But this is the debris catcher, and it's actually a functional air vent. Popping the hood, the Duramax 6.6 liter heavy duty engine is definitely very similar to what I'm used to with the 6.7 liter Power Stroke. It sits up real high, looks really busy, and sounds beautiful. You do have to appreciate the fact that there's certain things that just stand out about each brand and each vehicle, and I gotta give it to Chevrolet, man. As far as just from some of the prior years, as I mentioned to you earlier, this definitely is just one of the most beautiful trucks on the road when it comes to Chevy and their whole redesign of the front end. I'm really impressed, and even though I'm not a Chevy guy, I'm kind of gonna skip back and forth with some pros and cons just for me personally, okay? So one of the cons for me that I just never really understood is the box that's cut in between each tire. I just think the circle one is something that, I don't know, it sits better with the tire, but every brand is different. It is a four-wheel drive, of course, so that's always a plus. It does have a rear window slider, and the tailgate opens very nicely. Actually, you can just let it go, so that's really nice right there. And it's actually quite easy to lift. It's definitely not a heavy tailgate. I was really puzzled and confused is what the heck is that down here? It stands out, and it looks so bulky, and it's right there by the passenger door. So this is a DEF reservoir right here, okay? So the DEF, for a lot of you who may not know, every diesel engine requires it. It's the exhaust fluid. I do not know why they put it here, but it's definitely something that stands out. With these being here, the 2500 edition of these trucks cannot receive the automatic steps that fold out. It's not even an option because of that right there. You can definitely install the ones that are permanently on there, but if you wanted the fancy ones where they come in and out when you open the doors, that's not an option for this truck. One last thing before we go inside is, of course, the total price for this particular model is $72,805. I know that sounds a lot of money. Sounds like it's a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. I love this color. It's like a chocolatey color. I'm not exactly sure the exact name, but it's absolutely beautifully designed and done. I mean, it looks great. So one of the things I noticed first and foremost is legroom. Okay, now I know I'm a bigger guy myself, so I do push the seats back a little more than your average guy, but even if I push the seat a little bit more forward, not enough legroom back here compared to the Ford trucks, specifically the 2017 and up. Also, I noticed they have not, I'm not sure if this is the only, Ford is doing this only as of right now, but they still do have the center bump right here, and it's not flat. When you come inside, it's super comfortable. I got the heated seats on. I got the steering wheel actually really nice and warm. You can see I turned it on, and so that's really great when your hands are cold. You have your phone charger right here. So basically what you do is you set your phone down and it'll charge, okay? Here is the storage box in the center console right here, and it's a very deep box, which is great because us lawn care guys, we seem to always fill these things up with paperwork and whatever else. Another real cool feature, when I first got in this truck and I opened it, I was like, okay, this is a really small glove compartment box, like seriously. But then I realized there's a bottom piece right here as well, so when you combine the two together, that's plenty of room to put your things that you need. Now, as I mentioned, this is a high country trim package with obviously the full bells and whistles, including a sunroof, Here are the buttons right here, so you can definitely just check it out. It'll open and close, which is a really nice feature for any vehicle, really. And then, of course, just the push of a button, it closes. And then there's also another button where you can just half open it right there. And you just close it. Of course, you have this as well. Not really sure if this is something that most people would buy this kind of money to pull a trailer and lawn equipment, but that's not really what this review is about. I'm not here to say that this is the package to do that. I'm more here to say, let me try this out. Let me get a feel for it. The engine, the transmission, the comfort, and then of course, you know, the package and the trim levels and things like that are optional. I'm the type of person personally where if I'm buying a truck for lawn equipment, as you guys know, tiny, to pull trailers and pull mowers, I probably would not go with the most craziest, fanciest, most expensive trim package. Tiny is an XL, and so my next truck, if I ever, you know, when the time comes and if I ever go that route again with the Fords, of course, would not be with the XL is what I'm saying. I'd probably go with the XLT because it does come up with some of the more features that are real nice and handy, like the backup camera and things like that. But also I wouldn't go probably into the Lariat and maybe into the King Ranch because the price is super expensive on those, and you know, you're just pulling a trailer, guys. Overall, I have been driving this truck now for the last 2 days, and I can honestly tell you it's comfortable. It's new. I got it at 20 miles. I got 58 miles on it now, so I'm still going to continue to drive it more and keep you guys updated if I come across anything else that's either A, interesting, or B, that just stands out. Is it an expensive truck? Yes, it is, for sure. Is it worth it? I think so. You've got a lot of options and you've got a lot of comfort features. So guys, I hope you enjoyed for this first video. We'll go more into detail. It's gotten dark. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, just a first video of the next 2, 3 or so. I will go more into depth in some other stuff as we continue on checking this bad boy out.